program brought to you by Shrek. The biggest film of the year just got bigger on video and DVD.
Do you know what Joan Sutherland, Kathy Freeman and Peter Cosgrove have in common? They've all been Australian of the Year, and now the National Australia Day Council is calling for nominations for the 2002 Australian of the Year Awards.
If you think someone has made a significant contribution to our great nation, then now is the time to nominate them.
Call 1300 655 193 for more details, or you can visit the website at nadc.com.au.
Number 1 in Adelaide. This program is proudly presented by the credit unions. Our people are in your pageant.
Late. Millions of people to visit every Christmas. Never enough time. Well, that's it. I'll never be late for the pageant again. Open the valve. Check. Initialise the punt drop. Check. Power up. Check. It's alive! Well, it's on anyway. And away!
I don't care how much it costs to phone the North Pole. Just do it. He's late again. He's always late. I don't know he delivers all those presents on Christmas Eve. Oh, it's like talking to a bunch of clowns around here.
Oh, what a ride. Has anybody got the time? Merry Christmas.
Good morning, Jane.
Good morning, Brenton.
Isn't this absolutely wonderful? Here we are again at the beginning of another credit union Christmas pageant.
And the good news is that the weather's held off. It's not raining. We've even got some sunshine breaking through, which is great news for the pageant people involved.
Now, the pageant has already left South Terrace and it's winding its way up along King William Street, around a couple of the other major streets of Adelaide, back onto King William Street, and before you know it, it'll be right here with us on North Terrace.
And that means that the big bloke in the red suit will be here soon too.
Exactly. That, Jane, is Mrs. Doreen Dunn, who's blowing the whistle to start the pageant. She's 94 years young.
And she was in the very first pageant, Brenton, in 1933 as a Scottish colleen. And there are some of the people lining the streets today for the 2001 Christmas pageant. Welcome to this event. It's a fabulous day. We haven't got any rain. We've got cloud, but blue sky too. And there are all the happy children waiting for the fantastic
And look,
pageant.
People all the way along the route of the pageant find the best places to get the best view of this wonderful pageant.
And Dad's shoulders is always a good place to catch a view from, isn't it?
It is always a good place. Poor old Dad this afternoon, but never mind. She is going to have a wonderful view of this pageant.
Absolutely. Look, she's saying, where's my streamer? And perhaps she's saying, here it all comes, because indeed, here it does come down North Terrace. We can see the police motorcycle escort out the front, and there, the police greys, looking resplendent as always.
Aren't they wonderful? They are the most beautiful horses.
Percheron thoroughbred crosses, and I was talking to someone from the Mounted Police recently. Did you know that 22 members in the Mounted Police, and most of them these days are women?
Really? No, I didn't know
And
that.
you can see here we've got one of our police officers, a female police officer. In fact, I think there's one bloke there, second from left. We've got one male police officer, and the other 3 today are women.
And as always, the police and all the other voluntary organisations do such a wonderful job of looking after everybody, making sure that the children keep back behind the blue honour line.
Indeed. And the police horses, of course, are very special because they have to be able to put up with all the noise and being spooked by all the people. And speaking of noise...
This is the band of the South Australian Police, who were formed actually in 1884. Senior Sergeant Doug Drysdale is directing it today, and it's led by Acting Sergeant Drum Major Des Clark.
And Des is in his 46th pageant.
Well, that beats me.
Yeah, me too.
A long way. Wonderful stirring music to start off the Christmas pageant.
And there is the first of our clowns with the parade of flags. The beautiful marching girls looking resplendent in their red outfits, holding the flags to mark the very beginning of this wonderful 2001 Credit Union's Christmas pageant.
Merry Christmas!
I love the clowns. I never get sick of clowns.
You can't really, can you? Because they're so much fun.
Well, they have fun. You see, everybody in the pageant works for one of the credit unions. It's just such a wonderful organisation.
And this year there are more than 1,300 people involved in this pageant. It's a remarkable community effort.
Certainly, it's one of the best in the world, of course. And this is the first of the major floats. It's the Credit Union Christmas Pageant 2001 official float.
And we've got a new look for this particular float this year. New sound, new costumes, and it's a gold and mirrored, brightly painted, multiple panels twisting around. It's like a spinning top, really, isn't it?
There are clowns and pixies and jesters and toy soldiers. Just such a wonderful way to start off this magical pageant.
And isn't it lovely that the sun's shining just as this beautiful mirrored top comes past? Oh, they're a bit vertically challenged, these chaps.
They are a bit, aren't they? Well, there's a big clown.
Yes. Well, it's the biggest pageant in the world, and so we have the biggest clowns. And there is our beautiful pageant queen, Linda McIntyre, from Satisfact Direct Credit Union. And I know, having spoken to her, we both met her, and she's very excited about today.
She is very excited. And so, of course, are the other princesses. All the finalists there. The pageant queen up the top.
Yes, we have Australian Central represented by Teresa Zalik, Savings and Loans represented by Jessica Durden, Power State, Rachel Rowland representing that credit union, Rebecca Reeves representing the Police Credit Union, and Jane Higgins from CPS.
Look, real camels.
Absolutely, and this is the Nativity float depicting the birth of Jesus Christ.
And the 3 wise men are there.
They must have auditioned very widely to find 3 wise men, don't you think?
I don't think so. I think there'll be many wise men amongst the staff of the credit unions.
That's probably true.
A beautiful scene depicting one of the true meanings of the Christmas period.
Indeed, and the music that goes with that is from the famous Hallelujah Chorus.
And this is the Trans-Adelaide Brass Band. Oh, look, he threw that up in the air and caught it. That's very clever. That's Drum Major Kurt Erdman. He's been doing that for 18 years, so I think he's had a lot of practice at twirling and throwing that stick.
It certainly is. The Trans-Adelaide Brass Band was formed back in 1883, and it's always been associated with transport. And they've got players in that band that range in age.
Well, one of those.
From 13 years to in their 70s. So that's a fantastic community effort from the Trans-Adelaide Band.
The musical director is Ben Pesh. The Australian Girls Drill Team.
And as always, we need to remind our viewers that we're viewing the pageant today from quite close to the end. These people in the pageant, including these beautiful young women, have been doing this for 3.5 kilometres.
That's a long way to be dancing and high kicking, isn't it?
It is a long way. They're still smiling and happy and energetic as they come down towards the end of the pageant route.
It's amazing what people can do when they're enjoying themselves.
There's some tiny girls behind with, look at that one, she's only very tiny.
And she's thoroughly enjoying herself. As are the crowd, of course, because the sun is shining now. There's a cool breeze. It's not too hot, not too cold. It's just right.
It is just right. Oh, there's an octopus, Brenton.
That's the, well, it's the Baywatch Surf Club. I don't think they'd want an octopus hanging around for too long. I think the octopus is actually surfing on the front of their boat.
Ah, oh, and there's a dolphin surfing in the wave.
Oh, they've all got their zinc cream and their sunblock and their hats on because you have to be sun safe, don't you, and sun smart.
Absolutely, and they're all doing the surfing song. Bit of the Beach Boys, I think.
Surfing safari.
They've got very colourful zinc cream to match all their colourful shirts, haven't they?
Well, you can never have too much colour for a Christmas pageant. There's lots of ee-hawing going on here.
That's because we're having a bit of a barn dance up on the Goanna rock float, and we've got sheep and we've got dancing girls and we've got the clothes hoist, and there's the workhorse, the old Clydesdale, nodding away to the music.
Yes. Not actually working today, in the barn having some hay because it's a great big tractor that's pulling this along today.
It is. And there's the girls dancing under the clothesline.
The old Hills hoist out the front. A national icon, that one.
And from South Australia.
Oh, yes.
Oh, there's a bit of square dancing going on. Well, sort of circle
well,
dancing,
sort of round
really.
dancing. They call it square dancing.
They do.
Lovely bright colours there, oranges and yellows.
Oh, now here's a bloke who knows how to enjoy himself in the Christmas pageant.
A jolly swagman.
Having a bit of a snooze, he is.
Yes, well, he has it easy, doesn't he? I mean, someone else is doing all the hard work. While his billy boils, he'll just sit there and tap his foot and listen to the music.
And I reckon the music that he might be listening to would be Waltzing Matilda.
It could very well be, I would think, yes. Have you seen any jumbucks? That's a clown.
There's a jumbuck, look, and it's stuffed in a tucker bag. I think he's stealing it, that swaggy.
Yes.
And there's a trooper too,
Maybe
don't
he's
worry.
just borrowing it. He might give it back later.
Well, the troopers are onto him. They're going to catch up with him, I think.
What's following on from the swagman is the Gibber Creek Farm. Maybe that's where the swagman borrowed his jumbuck.
Probably. There they are. And there's some kangaroos behind them.
Sheepdogs, kangaroo, and a windmill turning around, pumping up the water.
Click, click, go the shears.
A few farm hands there to look after the animals. A very Australian scene. The roof needs some work.
I think it might. Here's Koala Great. He calls Australia home, and would you wonder, look, he's holding his bunch of Australian flowers, the wattle.
Koala Great's looking at all the boys and girls who are watching him.
And he's pretty happy, isn't he, to see so many children here today. Look.
That's a little sulphur-crested cockatoo by the look of it.
And you know, I saw some of those. They were making a lot of noise down in Botanic Park here in Adelaide the other day, and we had a flock of them just
They
feeding.
do make a lot of noise.
They do. They're pretty noisy blokes, those cockatoos.
This is the Enfield City Brass Band, and there are 35 members under the instruction of Drum Major Philip Benja. A little bit more of Waltzing Matilda.
It's a wonder they're not playing Happy Birthday, Brenton, because they've just celebrated their 41st birthday, this band.
Have they really? That's pretty old.
My goodness, it's a fish.
What is this?
I think that's a giant Murray cod, and indeed, it's over 8 metres long, and it's a Murray cod, which to the Narrandjee people is one of their dreaming stories.
Really? It's like a fish out of water here, isn't it?
He's certainly out of water.
I think you'll make it back in time.
That fish was part of the Federation parade at the beginning of the year too, so he's seen some very good service.
That is a penny farthing bicycle. That's what it's called because it has a big front wheel and a very little back wheel. It's very old-fashioned, a bit like this London bus. This goes back to 1946. It's a long time ago now.
And look at the busby on that soldier at the front. Do you know
The
that's
what?
what the busby, his big furry hat is called a busby.
Busby.
And look at the crowd, some of the 400,000 people who are here for the Adelaide Credit Union's Christmas pageant.
They're spread out all over the city. Thousands and thousands and thousands of people have made their way into the city.
Including these people from Amsterdam in their field of multicoloured tulips.
Tulips from Amsterdam. That's the song that's playing.
And they've got a windmill turning in the background there. I wonder if those girls are wearing wooden clogs. I hope they haven't, because they might have sore feet by now.
Well, actually, surprisingly, they can be very comfortable to wear. So I'm told.
From personal experience?
Well, no, not really. It's rumour. Look at those beautiful flowers.
They're shining in the sun, aren't they? Oh, and here's one of my personal favourites in the float.
Me too.
Nellie the elephant. She's a very old elephant, and today she's wearing the beautiful costume from Thailand.
You know how they say elephants never forget? Well, Nellie has never forgotten how to be in the pageant and where to go in the pageant.
She's a grand old lady of the pageant.
Indeed.
And she's got dancers surrounding her too, I think. There's
very colourful Eastern dance.
Yes, and as you can see, they're right in the middle of the screen are the children of the Golden Palace, and they follow. And it's a very beautiful Thai-themed float, this one, with lots of Siamese or Thai dancers.
It used to be called Siam, didn't it?
That's
Thailand.
right, yes. And that's where the story from The King and I comes from, isn't it?
That's right.
Siam.
And this is the March of the Siamese Children.
Ah, and there's the King of Siam sitting on his throne and looking very jolly about the whole affair.
Shall we dance?
Now there's a sensible Siamese lady. She has her parasol in case she gets a little hot.
That's another name for an umbrella, isn't it?
It is. It's a special name for a tiny ladies' umbrella. They're called parasols.
So for tiny ladies or a tiny umbrella for ladies?
Tiny umbrella for ladies, I think. I think you can be quite a generous lady and still have a parasol.
Ah. These are the Tea Tree Gully Redbacks, a wonderful marching band. They adopted the title Redbacks in 1994. The members are aged between 30 and 20 years, and they're directed by David Gardner. Drum major is Koala.
I think that's Mambo number 5 they're playing, isn't it? That'll get the crowd going.
I've lost track of which number of Mambo that is. And speaking of wonderful music, how about a rumba in Rio?
Well, if it's fiesta time, that's what happens. And look how colourfully they do it in Rio de Janeiro. Home of the original Carnivale, and look at those carnival dancers.
Look at the feathers.
I think this might be the lambada that they're dancing to.
It may well be. And they've done this for a long, long way, haven't they?
3.5 kilometres. Oh, what a fabulous mask. That's a very beautiful flamingo, is it? A flamingo, do you think, on the front of the float?
It's a toucan, I think.
Ah, that one's a toucan,
Might
yes.
even be a 3 or 4 can.
It's got
a very big one.
Big beak.
And from Rio, we fly straight
into Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Yes. Skirts on these beautiful young women with their leis around their necks. That's the collection of flowers are called leis.
Grass skirts.
Yes. Oh,
now,
there's a parrot.
That's a very colourful parrot.
He's sitting very still.
Well, doesn't want to fall off his perch in the middle of the pageant.
And from the middle of the Pacific, oh, there's a very small bicycle person.
It is.
From the middle of the Pacific to the middle of Europe, and the Viennese ladies.
They are very tall ladies, aren't they?
And behind them are all the courtiers. In their purple pantaloons. Do you have any purple pantaloons, Brenton?
I didn't wear them today.
No. Okay. And there's the lady and gentleman of the court sitting up on the balcony there.
And they're dancing to Die Fledermaus. The Die Fledermaus waltz.
Very famous piece of music.
Looking down on the pageant, see that all the children are being very good and keeping back behind the blue honour line.
That's always an exciting time in Adelaide, isn't it, when we see the line go down?
Happy little Santa lover,
Yes.
Father Christmas lover.
Here's one of our new floats this year, featuring MacDougall, the detective dog.
Oi.
Isn't he fabulous? He's a Scottish Terrier. And I think he needs to look behind him.
Why?
Well, I think there's some rogue mice.
Little rodent robbers.
I think so. And I suspect, too, that there's a roguish pusscat in that rubbish bin.
You think so?
Oh, look, the police
Oh,
have
look,
caught some
someone's
of the
looking out
rats.
of the rubbish bin.
Who is it? Let's see.
Oh, look, hiding again. I think
Here it comes, here
MacDougall.
it comes. Look, look.
Look out behind you, Mac. Oops. Hiding again. The Adelaide Irish Pipe Band. They're the only Irish pipe band in existence in South Australia.
But they've been around for a while because this is their 60th year. It's the second oldest in South Australia. Oh, I say.
This is a bit horrific.
This is number 13, Ghastly Grove.
Oh, I'm not going there.
It doesn't look like a very pleasant place, does it?
They do seem to be enjoying themselves, though, in their own way.
Yeah, well,
Oh, that tree is more like a spider.
it does look that way. Oh, and look at all those very colourful, ghoulish people dancing around in there.
Oh, the boys and ghouls.
Yes. Oh!
I think that dog's taking that clown for a walk.
Yes. Now, here's somebody who also knows how to enjoy herself when she's in the parade. She doesn't let the Christmas pageant interfere her bath time.
No. Hippo's hot tub. Lots of bubbles. All those pretty bath maids.
Yes.
Hippo, a big scrub.
And she's singing the appropriate song, Splish Splash, I'm Taking a Bath.
It's a good thing the sun's shining. It might be a bit chilly in there. Even though it's a hot tub, I think it might be a bit chilly if the sun wasn't shining.
That's it, scrub
Just
those big
yes,
teeth.
They need a good brush. Now, this is supposed to scare you, but it doesn't scare me.
And I don't think it's scaring the crows either, because they're in the wheat field. Look at that. And they're making a lot of noise.
Yes, it's a very friendly scarecrow. Scarecrows are supposed to try and keep the birds away from eating all the wheat or corn or whatever.
Yes.
Not working.
No, not working this day.
Oh, ready for takeoff, Jane?
10, 9. Oh, look, there's the pilot in the front.
Let's see. Oh, some rather interesting visitors from another state.
I think they've come from another planet.
Oh, yes.
There he is. The pilot of Starship Galaxy 2001.
Do you think it's ready for takeoff or it's just landed?
Not sure. It does look as if it could take off at any moment. Goes up, 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 and then it sort of reconsiders and comes down again.
I don't think it wants to leave the pageant.
No,
Much
you
like
wouldn't,
all
would
the
you?
people on either side of the road. Ah. And there he is.
Mr. Rotunda.
I wouldn't say that to his face. Keith Conlon and his jazz band, the Rotunda Band. That's 35 years they've been doing this in the pageant.
Keith was only a baby when he started.
But he's still Mr. Rotunda.
That's right.
Ah, sorry.
Mr. Rotunda. And aren't they colourful? Look at them all in their jade and cerise colours. The gentlemen wearing their cerise waistcoats.
Cerise? It's an interesting name for a colour.
That's that sort of pinky purpley colour, yes. Ah, this is the
yum.
Andy merry-go-round.
Andy Carnival. Oh, I could do with a lollipop right now, I think.
Isn't that a wonderful gingerbread car that's driving? It's got lollipops and candy sticks.
Very delicious vehicle, that one. Of course, you wouldn't want to try and eat this one, though.
No, this is the old pageant tram. And it's got lots of boys and girls on board and lots of ladies and gentlemen beside, dressed in old-fashioned clothes from the century before last.
We still have trams a bit like that here in Adelaide, don't we?
We do.
They don't come down this street, but...
No, they go down to the beach at Glenelg.
Oh, I love Pogo.
He's got the longest legs of any clown I know.
And the best green hair.
Yes.
And he's been riding his tiny little bike all this way.
You'd think his knees might be a bit stiff by now.
I think so. Boo-hoo. That's the name of the jester.
Oh,
not
good.
crying.
I hope you weren't crying. Boo-hoo's very lazy. He sits cross-legged and just gets dragged along all the way down. But look, he's got some helpers today who look just like him.
You know how big Boo-hoo is? How tall?
No.
Boo-hoo is actually 4 metres. That's very, very tall. And that's sitting down.
That is sitting down too. Rat-a-tat-tat, rat-a-tat-tat.
Yes, it's the little drummer boy.
And there's not just one little drummer boy, there's 12 beautifully dressed drummer boys. There's a couple of them. And there's some more of them. Except I think some of those are drummer girls.
I think so. Drummer people. Kettle drums. Let's listen. And more drums from the John Reynolds Drum Corps.
Their musical director is Des Bluey Clark. I wonder why he's called Bluey. Do you think it's because he wears blue?
Well, I'm not sure.
Here comes Toby the Toy Truck.
What a smile.
I tell you what, that lady carrying the cricket bat, she'd be able to hit a 6.
I think with a bat like that, I think you could hit a 12. Look at that crowd. And the sun still shining. Magic pageant weather.
And there's the 2 drivers of Toby the Toy Truck. 2 little boys up top of the cabin.
They big wheels.
Oh. And what do you think Toby the Toy Truck might have in the back of his tray?
Toys.
Do you think? Lots of
so.
toys. We might be able to see in a moment.
I think big toys. It's a big truck, and some toys are pretty big.
Yeah.
You need a big truck to deliver them. That is certainly a big smile.
Our camera people better watch out. They might get run over by Toby
Might end up in Toby's mouth.
Yes. You're right, Brenton. I can see toys
Let's have a look in the back. In the back of the truck. Yes.
Oh.
Now they are big, cuddly toys. Oh, and there's a drum.
Oops, a clown's fallen over. He's up again.
I think they mean to fall over.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Well, I think a lot of people are going to be doing this after the pageant. That is having a picnic.
But if they're like the bears, they should watch out for the ants. I think the ants are having a picnic with the teddies as well.
I think there's enough for everybody. I wonder what Teddy's eating. Uh-oh. Yar, 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 mateys. This is Nasty Neville, the Pirate King.
He's not as fierce as he looks.
Oh, I'm glad about that, because that is one fierce pirate.
It is, isn't it? But he has to look fierce because all his pirates are actually a bit hopeless. If you have a look closely, you see he looks a bit fierce too, but...
In need of dental work too, I think.
He's got mum on his shoulder on his tattoo, so he really does love his mum.
Softy.
A pirate king!
Oh, do you know what those swords are called that pirates carry?
They called cutlasses?
They are called cutlasses, yes.
I wonder if they found any treasure.
Oh, but gee, the fellow rowing right out front there, he only just fits in that little rowboat, doesn't he?
Oh, there's the treasure. Oh, no. That dragon's on fire.
I think he means to be. I think he's blowing a bit of fire out of his nose.
Oh, it's one of those
smoke anyway.
smoke-breathing dragons.
That's right. It's the dragon that St. George has conquered. See St. George standing up there?
I do.
He's tamed the dragon and brought it along to today's Christmas pageant.
Oh, look, very friendly dragon, looking at all the children.
And all along the side are the ladies from the court, George. They wear very pointy hats, those noble ladies.
They do. There's St. George in his shining armour. And this is Mother Goose.
Honk, honk. She tells lots of very good nursery rhymes.
She does. And most of them are there, most of the stories. The cow jumping over the moon. Hickory dickory dock.
3 little pigs around the side there.
Jack be nimble, Jack be quick.
Is Bo Peep there too?
I think so.
Yes.
All of those wonderful old stories that children even today still love. There's the cow jumping over the moon. I saw it, I did, I promise.
You did too. Oh, now here's somebody who's a bit puffed out after a very long race.
The tortoise. I think the hare is actually more puffed out.
Well, the hare's having a bit of a rest, silly fellow.
Yes.
See,
Thinks it's easy to win a race.
I think he's going to miss out.
Well, you see, I think the tortoise is just about to cross the finish line and win. You wouldn't think a tortoise could beat a hare, would you?
No, you wouldn't, but because the hare got so confident and went to sleep, the tortoise is going to win.
Well done.
There's another band. The Mitcham City Band. Drum major is Peter McIntyre. There he is out the front, marching beautifully.
Yes. Conductor is Gary Bishop. They were formed in 1901, so they're celebrating their centenary in our centenary year.
Fantastic. And look, they've got some very young members in that band. Now here's a merry old soul if I ever saw one.
Yes, old King Cole. And there are the fiddlers 3.
He calls for his bowl, and he calls for his pipe,
yes.
and then he calls for his fiddlers 3.
Of course, fiddlers are people playing violins, aren't they, or fiddles?
That's right. And I think that's his pipe right there at the front, and there's his bowl, so he's all set.
That is a big pipe.
Well, it's a big king.
Yes, it is.
And there's some of his courtiers. Old King Cole looks as if he's had already some Christmas pudding.
I think so.
He's got a very full
When you're
tummy.
king, you can have whatever you want, apparently.
Now, this is a new float for this year, isn't it? I don't think we've seen this one before. Alice in Wonderland.
It's one of the largest floats, I know that.
There's the Mad Hatter.
Having a tea party.
Oh.
And I think everybody's there at the tea party.
The King and Queen of Hearts would be there.
The March Hare. I can see the March. There's the March Hare.
And where's the Cheshire Cat? Can we see the Cheshire Cat?
Grinning over the other side, I think.
Oh. And then, of course, we've got all the...
There's the Dormouse.
Yes.
Tweedledum and Tweedledee.
Sitting up there on the front, dumbing and deeing away. Ah, that looks like a Cheshire Cat. Smiling and grinning. And then, of course, we've got the clubs and diamonds and hearts and spades walking along the side.
Now, here's somebody who's a bit tied up today for the pageant.
Yes, Gulliver has been tied down by the little tiny people of Lilliput. And they've got him all secured on that float, so he won't fall off.
Well, there's someone with a big mallet.
Is that like a hammer?
It's a great big wooden hammer. They probably used it to hit the pegs into the ground to tie him down with.
He doesn't look too distressed about being tied up, does he?
I think those little people are very kind.
I hope so.
This is one of my favourite floats. It's the
Is
three
it?
little pigs.
Aha, says Wolfie.
You can hear him. Oh, really?
Oh, do you think you can?
Oh, go on, have a try. Oops.
Oh.
Yes! It's a magic house. It put itself back together, pardon me.
And the three little pigs don't look too threatened, do they?
No, I don't think so. Poor old Wolf.
Well, Wolfie might be having a bit of success with the House of Sticks, but he won't have any success with the House of Bricks.
No, he will not.
My goodness.
What is that?
That is a pig with a very furry hairdo.
That is a very funny pig.
Here's a favourite from all our nursery rhymes, Humpty Dumpty.
Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men, there they are, they couldn't put Humpty together.
But today I think they're just going to stop him falling. They seem to be
holding him up.
Yes. See those two big soldiers there? They're just holding Humpty Dumpty back up on the wall. That'd be fun, riding a rocking horse all the way.
Wouldn't it? Now here's a magical boat.
Aladdin with his lamp. And my goodness, what's come out of that lamp? An enormous genie.
It's a genie. Very magic lamp that if you rub it, out comes a magic genie.
And genies are very useful people because they can grant wishes.
Can they? What, you make a wish and it comes true?
That's the theory.
What would you wish for?
I'd wish to be here again for next year's pageant.
That could come true.
If I'm very lucky.
If you're good.
I am the skirl of the pipes.
Yes, the Southern District's pipes and drums.
What a tiny drum major.
Oh, it is. Dylan Page.
Now there's another Busby, you see, on his head, that big furry hat.
Oh, right. I wonder why it's called a Busby.
I'm not sure. I do know in the olden days they were made out of bear skin, but these aren't. These are made out of feathers.
Oh. I'm glad you're here.
Look at that dear little boy. And here's another beautiful bus, and it's absolutely brimming with Christmas cheer.
It's called Christmas on Parade. It was originally a London bus. It's now been converted to be a very colourful part of the pageant.
And look at where it stops, at Bonbon Street, Caramel Corner, Lollipop Lane.
Yes.
That's my sort of bus.
I think I'll get off at Lollipop Lane.
And it's beautifully decorated. You can just see there in close-up that all the side of the bus has got all sorts of beautiful characters on it. It's got animals and dinosaurs, Christmas food.
How lucky you'd be to be up on top of the bus.
Now, here's one that especially people who love fairies will adore. This is Fairy Nook, down in the bottom of the garden. If you go very quietly, you might spot an old shoe full of fairies.
Really? I'll have to go and have a look.
See, look, amongst the bluebells and the daisies, you'll find little fairies.
If you had a little nook,
yes,
could you put an old shoe down there and hopefully attract fairies?
Especially if you have some pretty little flowers like that. See little yellow buttercups
Yes, I
and
could do
bluebells?
this. Look at the hair on that fairy.
And you know how you can tell when you've got fairies?
No.
Because you see lots of wings.
What, they lose their wings and grow new ones? Or?
No, but you might just see the wings fluttering and that'll tell you that you've got fairies.
I will have to keep a much closer look out in my garden.
Because they're very elusive fairies. They slip away when you're not looking.
Here is Nipper. This is one of the most famous little brown horses in the world, and it's been in every pageant since 1933.
And today, the very lucky little girl riding Nipper is Lauren Mutton from the Australian Central Credit Union. And see, she's being a fairy. Look at all those little fairies. See the wings? That's what you've got to look for. Look at Nipper.
Doesn't look very old at all, considering that Nipper's been around since 1933. That is such a long time.
The very first pageant.
And even more fairies, because here comes the queen of the fairies.
There she is. And she's got lots of other fairies to help her today. Pink ones and blue ones and lemon ones and green ones.
Behind the queen is a magic pond.
And lots of mushrooms and toadstools down in front. Now, speaking of famous horses, here's another little pony who's been around since 1933.
This is Nimble.
And that's Danielle Weir riding Nimble from the Power State Credit Union.
What a very special job to get to ride one of those horses in the pageant.
And you can see why he's called Nimble, can't you? He's very nimble on his feet. You can see his hooves are very sprightly.
Prancing.
That's the word I was looking for.
Dancing and
Thank you.
prancing.
Oh, hear a Christmas carol.
Oh, let me listen. You were right. It was a Christmas carol.
These are the beautiful voices from the girls of the Australian Girls Choir singing for us.
I can hear a band, and there it is. It's the Glenelg City Brass Band.
And there's a clown there pretending to be one of them. I think he's not going to trick the bandmaster, Don Fleming.
No, he's been doing this for 30 years. And Bill Noyce is the drum major up the front of the band. It's one of the oldest bands and best known in South Australia.
And hear what they're playing?
You better not cry. Santa Claus is coming to town.
Ah!
Of course, he is very soon.
Now, this is Kosi Koala, who I think is a koala who lives up in the high country in Australia.
In the snow.
Up around Mount Kosciuszko.
That's why it's called Kosi.
That's right. And even though it's not really snowy at Christmas time in Australia, it is in some parts of the world.
Yes.
What's that Kosi's got right down the front? That's a tiny, weeny little parrot, is it? A little galah? Or is it a snowman?
I think it's a little snowman.
Ah. Speaking of snow...
You'd get dizzy doing that for 2.5 kilometres, wouldn't you?
Would be very hard work. And she's on ice skates as well, you know.
Oh, that's probably making it easier.
This is dancing to the Skater's Waltz. This beautiful float is called Christmas Snow Time. Celebrating what Christmas is like in the Northern Hemisphere, in some places where it snows and they can go ice skating.
Well, maybe one day you could go overseas and have a white Christmas.
And then you might be able to go on a sleigh ride like these people are.
I've been on a sleigh ride in the snow. It is one of the most beautiful things to do.
I can't wait. Did you have sleigh bells?
Sleigh bells. And speaking of bells, these are silver bells.
They're very beautiful, silver and blue bells.
And they're ringing out to tell us that very soon it will be Christmas Day.
Oh, look, and the ladies walking beside are carrying bells as well that tinkle as they walk.
Isn't that a beautiful sight? Looking down, the sun is shining. Thousands of people enjoying this spectacular pageant. Well, it soon will be Christmas Day, and this is Christmas in Toy Town. All the shops are made out of building blocks, and it's trimmed with tinsel.
And it's pulled by a very happy-looking little engine.
Very happy little engine. You could probably make one of these out of blocks at home. Well, wouldn't you be happy if you were pulling along that little castle made out of building blocks?
And there's a very happy clown. Look at that.
I think I recognize that clown.
Do you? It does look a little bit like someone we know.
Yes, it did.
Now, here's something that any child would be happy to receive on Christmas Day, but they'd have to share, because it's such an enormous Christmas stocking.
Imagine hanging that up in your house at Christmas time.
I think you'd have to hang it on the roof. It's such a big stocking, you know. There's a whole push bike in there. Look, you can see the wheels.
Whose foot or leg would go into that stocking?
A giant ladies. This is the 1027th Battalion Brass Band of the South Australian Regiment, the Royal South Australian Regiment. And it's an army band based at Keswick Barracks.
The drum major is Staff Sergeant Grant James, the bandmaster Sergeant Alvin Kidney, and the band sergeant is Sergeant David Muller.
that's very smart, Brenton.
Well, they're very white and gold and spiky.
Yes, they've got spikes on the top, and I think they're made out of what's called pith.
Out of
Pith.
pith.
Pith helmets, and they're a special helmet that was used a lot in India to keep people's heads cool. They're made out of sort of a paper, I think.
So
like
they're
paper
light,
mache.
but
They're very
cool.
light. And they're high to keep the hot air off your head.
Well, you need a big trolley to carry all the toys that Father Christmas is bringing, and this is the Ville Trolley. Whoa, look at all those toys.
I hope they don't tumble off. Hey, Mr. Elf,
Well, if they
wake
tumble
up.
off, they could tumble off here. We wouldn't mind.
There'd be plenty of children wanting to pick up one. And look at all the elves all around the edge, the pixies and elves.
So, oh, well, if you have gifts and presents for Christmas, then you probably need one of these.
A beautiful Christmas tree. And it's spinning and sparkling in the sunshine.
Shimmering green. Oh, and more fairies.
Yes.
You can never have too many. Waving their magic wands to make everybody happy.
We saw Mrs. Doreen Dunn start the pageant blowing that special whistle that Sir Edward Hayward used to blow the very first pageant off. Won't it be lovely in a few years when some of these little girls who are on the pageant floats can come back as grown-ups and see another pageant with their children?
There I am. That was me.
Yeah.
Way back then.
That lady looks like a Christmas bauble.
Well, she's not hanging on the tree, which is probably just as well.
And there's a potted Christmas tree being carried along. Now, the Christmas tree means that we're getting very close to a very special person's arrival, doesn't it?
I wonder who that could be. And all those people down there, I think they know who it's going to be.
Yes. Because here comes Rudolph. Now, hang on, Rudolph. What's he doing reading a vacation newspaper?
Well, I think Rudolph has sort of done what Rudolph has to do, most of the work anyway, so having a little holiday now, having, you know, guided the sleigh down from the North Pole. A few more elves, little Santa's helpers. I think they're on holiday with Rudolph.
You can see the calendar at the back. It says on Rudolph's float that it's December 25th already. That means you're right, Brenton.
Right,
He's
so
done
on
his
Christmas
work.
Day, Rudolph would sit back in the rocking chair and say, I've done a good job.
And work out where he's going to go on holiday.
On holidays.
Now, the music says that Rudolph, with his nose so red, has pulled the sleigh tonight.
Well done, Rudolph. Now, I think it might be here that Father Christmas makes all the children's wishes come true.
Stardust Castle. And lots of stars leading the castle. Look at those beautiful silver and blue stars inside the ladies' capes.
Stars are a very important part of Christmas, aren't they? Sparkling, twinkling, bright stars. Very special place, stars.
And you can listen, you can listen now to the band of the Australian Army. And they aren't wearing their army hats, Brenton.
They're out of uniform. We'll have to put them all away. I think we get away with it today.
I think so too. Captain Geoffrey Cox is the 14th officer to hold the position of Band Commander. And Band Sergeant Major Warrant Officer Class 2 Greg Watkins is in the band today. Oh, look at that. Well caught, sir.
Twirling.
And this band provides musical support to Regal and Vice-Regal defence and significant civil activities.
It isn't, is it?
It is. It's Father Christmas.
He's here.
He's here.
Hi, Father Christmas.
Hello.
Here he is.
Ah, the moment all the children have been waiting for.
Father Christmas is in Adelaide.
He's arrived, and look at those reindeer's antlers. That's what their horns are called, you know.
Are they?
Yes, antlers. And they're looking very happy. Look out the
They
front.
are. They're all, look at their legs are still prancing and dancing.
Well, they're still very fit, you know.
Look, they're so excited, those reindeer. They're all looking around at all the children.
They are. Father Christmas,
Hi,
welcome.
Father Christmas.
Now, Now, earlier today, our colleague Nuala Hafner has been out and about catching up with some of the girls and boys who've been here watching the 2001 Credit Union's Christmas pageant.
Can I squeeze in here? Yeah. Wow, now, mate, what's your favourite bit of the pageant?
When Santa comes.
Really? That's my favourite bit too. Hello. What are you today? What are you dressed up as? You've got a crown, a tiara on your head, and you've got very bright clothes. Would you be a princess?
Yeah.
Oh, and do you think you might see something like that in the pageant today?
Yeah.
What do you think you might see?
Father Christmas.
Oh, you think? This is fantastic. How long did this take you to do?
Not that long. We came in early this morning, so we did it pretty quickly, yeah.
How much do you love the Christmas pageant?
This much.
This much? Are you sure?
Yeah.
How much again? Show me again. Well, guess I love it. This much. Do I win? I think I win. What's the favourite bit of the pageant?
When Father Christmas comes.
Oh, and have you written to Father Christmas and told him what you want?
No.
But do you already know?
Yep.
Oh, can you tell us?
A scooter.
A scooter? Oh, fantastic.
Jamie raised the one because it's got lights.
If you already had one, you could go in the pageant, couldn't you?
I'm going to ask for all surprises.
Oh, you don't want to know? You'd like Father Christmas to choose? That's a good idea.
I'll say the police.
You like the police, the mounted police?
Yep.
So if you were in the pageant, what would you like to be?
That would be a hard question.
I'm asking a lot of tough ones, aren't I? Shouldn't you be pulling Santa's sleigh, though? Yes, you're late, aren't you? What's your favourite float? Definitely. And is that why you've got reindeer ears on? Yeah. What are you going to do with your flag?
Wave it at Father Christmas.
Oh, and what's the favourite? What's the best bit about the pageant? You like all of it?
No.
What are you most looking forward to in the pageant?
All the bands.
Oh, you like the music? What do you want for Christmas? What would you like for Christmas? I like your hat. Can you say, hello, Father Christmas? Hello. Oh, you're gorgeous. What do you like most about the pageant? Yeah, what do you like? What's your favourite float? What's your favourite bit of the pageant?
The clown.
The clown? Do you think all the clowns should be wearing sunglasses like you?
Yeah.
And if you were in the pageant, what would you like to be?
Fairy.
Fairy? How about you?
Elf.
What's the...
And they were some of the excited children who've greeted Father Christmas along the way, but here he is arriving on stage.
Yes, and there's someone special there to welcome him. It's Chris Dittmar.
Boys and girls, mums and dads. We're not on. We are on. To everyone at home, we're just waiting here in North Terrace to welcome Father Christmas. Boys and girls, mums and dads. How about a big hand for Father Christmas? Okay, how about 3 big cheers for Santa? Hip hip! Come on, a bit bigger, hip hip! And the last one, hip hip! Boys and girls, come and see Santa, won't you, at the Magic Cave in David Jones. Now, have you all been good girls and boys? Are you sure? Who's been very good boys and girls? Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Santa. Enjoy your time at the Magic Cave at David Jones.
So Father Christmas has arrived. He's been welcomed, and all the children say that they've been good enough.
Well, I'm sure they have. Have you been good enough?
I've tried really
Well, then that's
hard.
all you need to do is try. Yes, Father Christmas is here in Adelaide once again, and will be here right through until Christmas at the Magic Cave in David Jones.
And look, he's giving our Christmas pageant queen, Linda McIntyre, a cuddle and saying what a wonderful job she's done at the 2001 Christmas Union
And what a
pageant.
wonderful job you've done too, Jane.
Thank you, Brendan. You too. I'll look forward to being back next year. Bye-bye, Father Christmas. See you in the cave.
Yes, have a wonderful Merry Christmas from Channel 7 and the credit unions. Goodbye. See you next year.
Something's happening in town today. The streets alive in a magic way. And everything I see and hear says it's Christmas. Nipper and nimble riding by a Christmas tree that's oh so high, and cooks are cooking up treats so warm and tasty. A stocking filled with toys for all, a sled glides by and sleigh bells call. Then the very best thing of all, Father Christmas blows kisses to all. With a very Merry Christmas and a welcoming wave, come and join me here inside the Magic Cave. It's so good to be back, and here in my sack are toys for all the girls and boys. Have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. All the joy and happiness and seasonal cheer. It's the time and the place to wear a happy face. It's the place where dreams come true. In the Magic Cave. 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 In the Magic Cave.
This program is proudly presented by the credit unions. Our people are in your pageant.
Roy and HG host our election coverage live from the National Tally Room in Canberra tonight on 7, number 1 in Adelaide.